live in the Littlestown School District. Because some of my emails to the board members in the past have not made it to their final destination, after I'm done speaking, I'm going to provide each of you with a copy of my letter from my attorney. When a parent brings a legitimate concern before the board, it should be taken seriously and not ignored. I've been speaking publicly since October about the obscene book problem, only to get flat out ignored or a vague response like this ridiculous card. It took 5 months for a policy to be put in place so that I could officially get these materials looked at. Is one to infer that unless you come and address the school board over the course of several months, your concerns are not going to be taken seriously? That's inexcusable and should never happen again to anyone. On March 1st, I submitted my first 15 books, but apparently, as stated last week by another board member, only 10 are being looked at. So, what I heard you say last week when that came to light was, if you make this filth part of our curriculum, it's okay and you don't have to review it. Parents never gave you approval to have this filth exposed to our children. And since you as a school board and your Policy 109 are defending these types of books as curriculum, then you need to provide the parents of the district an explanation as to why you are allowing pornography, rape, bestiality, underage drinking, molestation, masturbation, drug use, CRT, in books that promote abortion. Speaking of curriculum, I find it very irregular that Mr. Lawyer is serving on the curriculum committee when his spouse is a teacher and chair of her department at the high school. How is that not a conflict of interest? And that's not the first time you've heard me speak about that. As I stated last week, Policy 109 doesn't dictate a defined time for when a request is resolved. Yes, Policy 109, Step 7 of 11 details that a 6-person committee shall be scheduled within 10 to 20 school days of receipt. However, it doesn't detail how long the committee reviews the request, Step 8, how long until the assistant to the superintendent contacts the complainant, Step 9, how long the appeal to the superintendent will take, Step 10, and finally the full school board's ruling, Step 11. So am I looking at 30 days from when I submitted the complaint to receive the results, 3 months, or next year? I'm asking you to review Policy 109 and add verbiage to add a definitive timeline for each step until final closure. I'm also asking that Policy 109 be updated to add the same level of oversight to add materials as there is now to get the material reviewed. Currently, to get a piece of material reviewed, it requires the original staff member, building principal, library and media specialist, the assistant to the superintendent, 3 teachers, a parent community representative, superintendent, and finally, the school board. That's 18 people for those of you that lost count. So who is this parent community representative? I hop up and wrap my legs around his waist, feel already a satisfying hardness. We got like that up the stairs, all 16 of them with me in Seth's arms, my tongue in his mouth. Then he's there, naked, the thick horn of him wet, tipped, and hard, and a rush of wetness floods the cotton lining of my thong. He pushes into me hard and fast, and it hurts and feels good all mixed together. I know, too, that he likes to feel himself inside of me, under his hand, the back and forth motion of it. He thrusts again and again, hard into the center of me. I pull him out of his underwear, and he's soft in my hand. I don't look up at his face before I open my mouth, and I pull into it, and I suck until he grows hard, and he makes sounds that mean he likes it. And I keep going and going, and when he says I'm going to come, I don't pull away. The jet of him is warm and salty and tastes like thickened sweat. Did your stomach turn? Are you appalled? Do you feel nauseous? Because what you just heard is an excerpt from a book called What Girls Are Made Of by Ilana Arnold. These 2 characters are 16 and they're minors. This is sexualization of our kids. This is in our high school library and is just one tiny example. 2 pages I got those excerpts from of what our students are exposed to. If a student or employee of this district is reading this online while using school property, this policy 815 states, under state law is any depiction or representation in whatever form or nudity, sexual conduct, sexual excitement, or malice abuse taken as a whole lacks serious literary, artistic, political, educational, or scientific value for minors. So yet if it's in the book, it's okay? How is this even possible? So tell me how this book has any literary, artistic, political, educational, or scientific value. Someone must be held accountable for this, adding this garbage into our school. And I'm requesting that an investigation be started to determine who is responsible, how, when, and why this filth made it into our school. And let me remind you, I'm not co-parenting with you.
Amen. Hallelujah.